Welcome to a place where the mysterious becomes the unforgettable. This metaphysical journey explores hauntings, UFOs, extraterrestrials, cryptozoology, and everything the paranormal world has to offer. Each week, guests from around the globe share their expertise, experiences, and mind-bending encounters. This is the Paranormal Voice.
Welcome to a Saturday edition of the TPV Nation. That's right, folks. It is here. It is unique, and not very often I get to do a Saturday afternoon show. So it's so good to see everybody that's going to be tuning in with us. So happy to be back. So that means there will not be a show tomorrow. Fortunately, work calls. But besides that, we'll be back on September 7th. We've got a special show planned for you then. But guys, I do not want to waste any time. I want to dive right into my guest today, and she is one of my closest friends in the paranormal, and I'm so glad that I get to talk with her and pick her brain as often as I can. So right now, joining me all the way across the pond, she is a UK-based paranormal investigator, author, speaker, whose passion for the unexplained has taken her to deep into the world of the mysterious and the unknown. MJ is also the founder of the Sage Tribe, a community built around curiosity, exploration, and a shared fascination for the paranormal. Through her investigations, writings, and speaking engagement, MJ continues to explore the questions and challenge what we think about the afterlife. So get comfortable, open up your minds, prepare to step into the ordinary as I welcome to the show my best friend from the UK, the lovely MJ Dickson.
Hello, my love. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me.
It's welcome back. I mean, I missed you so much.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a crazy year. We were talking backstage and
Mhm.
how everybody's feeling this shift change in the world and everybody's seeing things doing things differently. You haven't seemed like you slowed down a notch. It seems like you found a seventh gear into the
Yep.
paranormal universe because you are. I open up your post and it's like I gotta go take a nap. MJ's tired me out
I feel like I
already.
can take a nap every 3 hours because, oh my goodness, it's been overwhelming. It's been a busy year. A lot of it has been backstage, kind of in the background working on things. And yeah, it's been good though. Hello.
That's our lovely friend Rhonda. So it's like almost like where do we begin and to try to catch up on what you're up to. I mean, like I said, just when I see some people slowing down in the world, it looks like MJ finds a new gear because you constantly. But I mean, that's amazing, and that's who you are, and the people who've got to know you on a much deeper level than just the surface that a lot of people get to see you on. But you're always finding new things. You're always writing. You found this new passion for writing. This is going
Yep.
to be your third book that's going to be coming out.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know when, honestly, because I keep adding chapters. I keep going, okay, we're nearly there. Oh, but what about this legend? Oh, what about that mystery? Um, I'm actually writing 4 different books at the same time at the moment.
Wow.
So I'm jumping between all of them, which is kind of slowing down the process a little, getting one book out. But I kind of wanted to work on 3 or 4 at the same time and then put them out like sort of one after the other and kind of get momentum so that I can, start working on the next 4. I currently have about 14 writing projects on my to write list. And I need to stop adding, basically.
Your poor arms.
It's all
Or
I've
your
been
fingers, I should say, because they're typing on a keyboard.
it's all I have been doing. Like most of
Yeah.
this year has been spent behind a keyboard, just typing away and then going off and researching these legends and hauntings and all sorts of research for my first fiction that I'm doing, which is a whole different ball game. So yeah, it's been fun.
I mean, that's got to be a little bit relieving, stepping out of your comfort zone and not really writing about something that's factual, but
You
something
know,
that's based off of something you're normally talking about. So that must be almost like a breath of fresh air, but at the same time nerve wracking.
terrifying. Terrifying. Like I thought, it's fiction. You make it up as you go along. How hard can it be? Well, let me tell you, building an entire world and characters and giving them really deep backstory, or you want your characters to be interesting, otherwise they just sound a bit flat. And I can't tell you the number of writing courses I've taken, and just I've just been working on honing that craft a bit more, digging into different styles, and well, this my fiction's a completely different style for me. So it has been really interesting. It's a really cool story. Oh, I think so anyway, but I think it's great. I love my characters. Every time I have to write and something bad has to happen to one of the characters, I literally feel guilty. Like I'm losing sleep over fictional characters because I feel bad for them, like the things I'm putting them through. It's ridiculous. But it has been really fun. It's been terrifying and I'm learning a lot. But I'm enjoying the process. Yeah. So there will be some nonfiction books coming out, but also what started out as one fiction, dip my toe into that realm, has turned into a trilogy.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I really want to pick your brain because
Sure.
since since we met, which was a little while ago, and I'm
Yeah, it
so
is.
happy about that. But the paranormal field has changed so much.
Oh my goodness, drastically. In the last few years, we've seen a real change. Yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on the changes that are happening. Of course, with AI now being involved in a lot of the paranormal fields, yes, I shake my head every time I hear the word AI.
Mm,
It is good in some ways, but what some people are using it for and putting it out there, it's
yeah,
really driving me insane. And actually, I feel that it's dragging the field down because
100%.
people people outside our field, the enthusiasts, the people that come and see us at conventions and stuff like that, like they dive into it, but they're not as deep into it as you and some of the other. I don't like using the word celebrities because to me
I
you're
hate
all
that
my
word.
friends. You're
I hate
you're
that
normal
word.
people. You put pants on just like everyday people. So,
Exactly.
but but to get your perspective of somebody who's so deep into the paranormal field, as long as you can you try to just give us a touch in how you feel the paranormal field's going with
Oh,
the direction, and hopefully it'll change
how
direction
much
soon.
time do we have and how angry can I get?
You
Um,
can get as angry as you want, and you can take all the time. I know that could be like a 2 week straight show.
I could
I
rant
could
about
get
that
you,
for a
John
while.
Zaffis, and Tim Shaw in here, and it would be a week's worth of show.
Well, look, there are ways that you can use AI that could benefit you, or make things a bit easier for you. I am not a big fan, um, especially when it comes to research. It gets things wrong, and what we're seeing is people who don't gather all the facts. They don't go to a library and do research anymore. They don't go and research a legend or a haunting or whatever for themselves. They're just kind of putting something into AI and it spits out regurgitated nonsense. And now, with everybody posting everything, obviously AI draws from online sources and things. So now the real stories and the real facts are getting diluted. There's no more real research. Those of us that spend all of our time really digging into things and making sure that we have all the right facts and things in place, it's kind of null and void now. There's hardly any of us left doing that, and it's just really upsetting. Yeah, and then obviously faking photos and all sorts is really upsetting as well. It's just diluting the field. I mean,
Yes.
the paranormal as it is, we have a really hard time with people outside of our field taking us seriously. And by doing these sorts of things, and sensationalizing everything, it's just making it look like more of a joke,
Right.
in my opinion. Anyway, but not only that, like the field in general isn't doing very well. We've seen so many events that are just canceling because they can't sell tickets. There's not as much support anymore. It's just, yeah, we've seen a real downward turn in the entire field around the world. I mean, it's not just in the States, it's happening here in the UK. You have all of these people that are like, oh, we're going to do events, and they advertise everywhere, and they have the best intentions, but there's no real support for it anymore. I think maybe partially down to the fact that paranormal TV is not really producing anything new and exciting and, you know, legitimate. A lot of it is just so sensationalized. There's hardly anything new being released at all. And then you have obviously YouTube and people who are putting their own stuff out there, but again, keeping up with the sensationalism for the likes and the views. Everything's a demon. Everything's those like thumbnails and demon attacks. Like, how do you? Anyway, I could rant, but it's kind of created a snowball effect.
Right.
And it's just, yeah, the field's not doing great anymore, which is really sad because, this has been my full-time job for many years. And all of us that have had careers in this field for so long, we've all just kind of retreated. All of us are working on our books. All of us are working on research behind the scenes. We're staying away from a lot of the online drama. My God, there's drama in the field at the moment. Everybody keeps messaging me. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? No, I haven't. I stay away. I don't care.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
care. Not my problem. But yeah, we've all kind of withdrawn quite a bit, just working on our own things in the background. Yeah.
No, and it's very sad because I mean the true researchers in the industry like yourself, the Jeff Berlangers, the Richard S. Steps, the people who spend a lot of time like going down rabbit holes that people just don't want to take the time to do. They want to shortcut it and
Yep.
use AI to shortcut those things. But like you said, so many untrue facts are coming out
Mhm.
because the resources through AI are not
And
100% right on.
it's not just, people using AI to write everything for them. Their blogs or their whatever that they're putting out there. Which don't even get me started with writing because that's a whole different ballgame. That's going to be a completely different rant. But it's the fact that people are now using AI to tell them how to build equipment. And, I know a lot of people who build equipment for a living and they have done for years. And they're like, wait a second, but I can tell you none of that's right. You're going to get false positives. It's just going to
Right.
be a mess. And they don't know enough. So they're kind of following AI step-by-step guide on how to build a piece of tech. And then they claim that it's working. But people who are actually in the field of building stuff will tell you that that's not how it's done, or
Right.
so it's affecting all parts of the paranormal field.
Yeah, and it's really crazy every time I open up social media, and I mean the biggest one happens to be the Bigfoot world, and I feel so talking to Ronnie a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like the bombardment like he gets with people sending him AI video, and he'll spot it because even I see stuff and I'm like, wow, that
Hmm.
that could be possibly real. And
Yeah.
and I'll just send it out to Ronnie like, hey, thoughts, yes or no?
Yeah.
Big no. And I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
so now I'm learning, with the
Yeah.
paranormal stuff like orbs and ghosts, and I'm like, I'm sorry, ghosts just don't behave that way. Not to say that it's not possible, but the thing is, the chances of you capturing that on camera, very, very tiny. So,
I mean, I get sent so many pictures and things, and they're like, "Oh, this is legit." And you take one look at it and you're like, "Oh, man. Like that is so far from legit." Like don't waste my time. Like
right, right. But it's sad because everybody's looking for their 15 minutes of fame to
this
say
is very
that they've
true.
captured.
But I think, while everything is what seems like a downward spiral in the field at the moment, I think I have hope that in a year or so it will start to pick up again
Yeah,
and we'll go back to just legitimate research and better events. And I think, there is still that possibility. People are you're so bombarded with AI in your everyday life, all over social media, in everything that you do. People are losing their jobs. People are sick of AI. And I think that in the near future, people are going to start craving genuine, authentic, human-made art and research and
right.
etc. etc. So, give it time. Um, uh, in the meantime, we can all do our bit to stay legit and try and. I say that it's yeah, but when it's
Yeah.
everywhere, it's really hard, right?
Well, it's a shiny new toy. You're right, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, let's see what the shiny new toy can do."
Yep.
But yeah, after about a year or so playing with it, it gets put on a shelf, and then everybody just goes back to the way that it was. And
Fingers crossed. You know what
eh,
one of the most upsetting thing is as well is as an author, and I'm speaking on Richard's behalf as well. I don't think he'll mind me bringing this up, but there's a lot of us who have had work stolen. Richard has had numerous books stolen to train AI. There's literally sites that you can go onto and check if your work has been stolen. And it is so frustrating because now it really upset me. I mean, I had a word with my editor about actually I had a massive rant with my editor about this. It really upset me. Because now anything that you write, so if I write something and I spend months working on it, and my novel, for instance, I have literally spent almost a year fine-tuning every single chapter and working on things. Hey guys, and I've been trying my best to produce something that is not only interesting but well written and work on my punctuation so my editor doesn't give me hell constantly. Um, but when you take your work and you put it in an AI checker, it flags it as AI because it's too perfectly written. Do you know how
wow,
frustrating that is? That somebody's like, "Oh, your work is AI." The hell it is. I have literally spent months sat here, right here on my bed. I'm in my bedroom, by the way, because the house is very busy today. But sat here writing my heart out and researching and deep diving into things and putting in the work and the effort, only for something to say, "Well, no, it's AI." That's really, really upsetting. Or when you spend hours upon hours designing something, whether it's to put on a t-shirt or a poster or whatever, and you have another thing that irritates me is it's every single event uses AI for their posters and everything looks the same. I've got to the point where I'm like, I barely even read what your event is about because you've used AI for absolutely everything. So.
no, for sure. And we had a question come in for you. What do you do when you have writer's block?
Bang my head against a wall and cry. Um, Honestly, it happens quite a bit. Mainly, I don't think it's just, not being able to come up with content or whatever. A lot of it is also imposter syndrome. I have very bad imposter syndrome. I've said this so many times in the past. I think a lot of us do, Richard and I have spoken about it in the past, and Jeff and I have spoken about it. All of us have that moment where you go, is this good enough? Who am I to be writing and releasing this? And I think I found that quite often recently with my fiction because it's something completely new to me. When you have writer's block, what I found, especially with fiction, is that if I can't move forward, something in the story has created that block. So I generally go back about 2, 3 chapters and reread it. And often or not, you'll find where that blockage has been created, where, you've steered yourself a little bit wrong or whatever, and you can fix it. At the moment, I was struggling with a particular chapter of one of my books really badly, and I decided to just step away completely. And usually when you take about a 2-week break completely and you go back and you read it, it's almost as though you're reading a twin soul's work. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not you that wrote it because you've taken that time away. You can then read it and see it with fresh eyes. And sometimes that really helps. It certainly helps you to kill your darlings and remove all the unnecessary things that you've gone on a tangent about. With my ADHD, I tend to do that quite a bit. Yeah, I am a perfectionist. I'm very bad. I'm really bad.
I think most of us are our worst critics when it comes to stuff we're working on. And
Well done, Philip. I can't wait to read it. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Some great people in the chat.
but no, and I mean that is a lot of things that I mean writers like I'm currently still writing my first book, and I for people like you who have multiple books out, Jeff and Richard, I sit back sometimes and I'm like, how do these people do this? I
Okay,
mean,
hear me
it's
out. Hear me
it's a
out.
lot of work.
I was
It is a
there.
lot.
I used to look at Richard and Jeff and John Zaffis and so many other great authors in this field. I used to look at them and be like, oh my gosh, wow. How? How do you even write one book? Like, how do you do it? One word at a
At
time.
a time.
Genuinely.
and, and I think
Like,
that's advice you gave me at the last time I was at Sage Paracon and we were talking about my book. And I
you
was
just
picking
plug
your brain.
away.
And you says one word at a time, one sentence at a time.
That's
You
it.
know, you just got to
It
get
adds
yourself
up.
into a routine.
Mhm.
But yeah, after a while, you're just like, wow, I don't know how these guys put out any type of books because this can be mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I'm just writing a story about my life, and I'm finding it so. And I'm like, how do like people like Richard and Jeff like write books about all these things that are happenings? And I was like,
Oh,
wow.
like,
I'm like
no.
the
Like,
months and the year that it takes.
I used to look at Richard and be like, how are you working on 5 books at the same time? What is wrong with you? How is this possible? Like, that is not normal. Or how do you write a whole book in like your first draft in like 2 weeks? What? How? And the more you work on it, the more you write and the more you read. Reading is so important. Like, if you're planning to write, you should be finding every little bit of time you can to read because that is going to help you hone your craft so much faster. And that was really good advice that Richard gave me, and I did it, and it works. And now I'm the one juggling 4 books at the same time, going, damn, I never thought I'd be the person doing this. My issue is that I get too involved in my research. I love research rabbit holes so much, but I can go down one for weeks and get stuck. As an example, my fiction, the first book is set in ancient Egypt in a very particular time period. And my ADHD perfectionist brain went, which is a real contradiction, by the way, went, okay, what does the ceiling look like in a tomb from that time period? That was a week of my life. What does a ceiling look like in a particular tomb from that time period? So I think I take a little bit longer than Richard and them because I squirrel and I get so involved into like really deep research. Um, Not to say that they don't, they absolutely do. You know, I look at some of Richard's war books and things, and I'm just like, wow. And the research that he puts into stuff is amazing. Um, but I think one of the things that, as a writer, if you're planning on writing a book, what I would do is try and do all of that research before you start writing.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to stop writing and then go, oh, I need to research that. And then you're going to come across the next thing is stop writing. And so figure out what you want to do, plan your book out, figure out all the research that needs to be done for those chapters, go and do all of it, and then sit down and write. I think that's going to be a lot easier. You might still come across some things that still need some research or, dig into it a bit deeper, but yeah.
There you
And I
go.
think I
So
went through
anybody who's watching the show and you're planning on writing a book or you're writing a book, there you got some firsthand experience from MJ Dickson, who is an amazing writer, by the way. I love
thank you.
both of her
I'm still
books.
learning.
I can't wait till like the next one comes out because, like I said, your writing style brings people on a roller coaster, and I think I've messaged you plenty of times when I was
Thank
reading
you.
both your first two books. I'm bawling because I know you're bawling because your words are. I can feel you in your words.
So many people, that was probably the biggest compliment I got, was the fact that people would reach out and they would say to me, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm sat across a table having a cup of coffee listening to you tell me the stories. And that's very much what I wanted it to be like. I wanted it to be me on a page. I wanted it to be as authentic as possible, as open as possible. And we were talking behind the scenes before the show started, there were certain parts of my book that were really hard to write. There was, for instance, writing about my brother's passing, um, having to relive his death in detail
Yeah.
when writing about it absolutely broke me. And as I said to you, it was a really cathartic experience as well. But to me, I want you to be on that journey with me. I want you to feel how I felt in that moment. And I want it to be raw and authentic. So it took me a while to figure out how to do that. And, that's different from one of the books that I'm working on at the moment is The Menagerie of the Unexplained. And it covers all sorts of weird legends and things. For instance, the Loch Ness Monster, right? Everybody's written about Nessie, and there's a lot of stuff out there that's false, and you have to verify your own facts and things. But I didn't want to just rewrite somebody else's research, so I've traveled to Loch Ness 3 times just for this chapter. It's one of my main things that I do when I'm out there. I've gone on the deep scan research vessel. I have scanned that damn lock myself looking for Nessie. I have interviewed eyewitnesses that, first-hand accounts. I have interviewed biologists and naturalists and like you name it. I have gone out there and done the work and done the research. And now I'm kind of putting all of those chapters together. Same thing with the black-eyed children in Cannock Chase out here in the UK. There are numerous stories about people hiking in Cannock Chase and coming across a child with completely black eyes. Some say that it could be the spirits of a few young girls who were murdered there, or their bodies were dumped there, rather. And most of what you find online kind of points to it being a haunting of these young girls. Um, Whereas I found some very interesting information and experienced some really interesting things by going out there and doing it myself. I hiked Cannock Chase for hours. And one of the things that I found, one of the claims, is that people often hear children giggling, but they can't see anyone. They hear these kids' voices calling them in the woods, but it's late afternoon and there's no one else around. Except that there are a lot of ravens there. And ravens can mimic almost better than any other bird because they have an extra vocal cord. They don't sound like a bird, they sound human. They
Yeah.
also have the intelligence of a 7-year-old child. And
Wow.
so when you have people who are going to a particular area with their kids to go and hike and picnic, and the kids are feeding the ravens, and ravens have started associating these families with food and snacks, they start mimicking what they hear. They start mimicking the children's laughter. They start mimicking the kids calling out. So
Wow.
when I was hiking through, I heard what sounded like a child giggling, and it terrified the hell out of me until I saw a rather large raven sat up in the tree, and I thought, wait a second, what if? And so
Right.
I started digging into it. And so, you know, I love that sort of research. But when it comes to doing a book like that, where it's like, it's still you, it's still me on my journey exploring all of these things, but there's not as much emotion as writing something like Never Goodbye, Only Good Night. That was a very personal story for me. Um, Going home to Africa for the first time as a researcher and being able to follow up on things that I grew up with, but it was also a very emotional trip back home. Those of you who have read the book, you know why. And it was deeply emotional. So I'm kind of finding it hard now to carry that same emotion through into Menagerie of the Unexplained because it's such a different book, right?
Right.
So I'm really hoping people will enjoy about it.
I mean, there's no doubt about it because I mean, coming from you and knowing how much hard work you put in to this, anything you do, you always put in 110% of yourself.
I try.
And like I said, I love like you are a true inspiration to many people in the paranormal field, especially women. I mean, you are such an inspiration to say, and I mean, mostly when you came into the paranormal field, it was mostly a male
Man.
dominated industry.
Yep.
And here's MJ kicking down doors and kicking asses and go, look, I can be more badass than you and watch what I can do. And
You
you've
know what?
proven
I
your
mean,
effect.
there were still people in the field before me. There was Katrina Weidman, there was Heather Taddy, there were, all of those strong ladies doing their thing, Amy Rooney, all of them. So, those were all people that paved the way for the rest of us. I'm just glad I can do that for the next generation and hope that, other women can see that they can do it too. They don't, even if it is a male dominated industry. There's more female investigators now than male.
Well,
I think
that's what I was
so.
gonna say. There is I think the females
Yeah, we're taking over.
outdo the males because I mean it's always been talked about how the women have the sixth sense more than a man, just by
Mm,
nature.
I
You know,
mean, yes, we have a
you
more maternal instinct, and yeah,
uh, but yeah. I mean, it's great, and I mean, I was really excited that I got to spend some time with Heather Taddy to pick her brain. She is
it's
truly an
amazing.
amazing. I mean, even watching her nowadays, like watching her from Paranormal State to now, and just
Hmm.
and I mean, you guys got a lot of similarities, both musicians, now both rocking it in the paranormal world. You guys got such a head on your shoulders, and I mean, just to be able to pick both your brains, I mean, I call myself a very lucky person.
Oh, you've inspired us too, so don't be hard on yourself at all. Oh my gosh,
Uh, I
hiking in
was,
the Rockies, came off a mountain, heard a cry for help, cry of help me over a slight hill, no one, no car in sight. Ill.
yeah, no, that, that,
Listen,
that, that I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I mean, yeah, there's so many, and like you said, it's as scary as that is. But to have the experiences that you've had, it was so amazing how quickly your knowledge of your surroundings was able to kind of debunk
People
what was going on.
people tend to, if you're researching the black eyed children, right, you're so focused on what you may find to be able to prove that it's real. How about looking at just the natural things around you, like those ravens, right? People tend to want to sensationalize things, especially in the field right now. Like you said, it's who's come up against the biggest demon, or the most haunted location, or
Right.
the scariest thing. There's very few people who actually take the time to debunk anymore, which is
No,
annoying.
yeah, it's very sad, and I mean, a lot of times when I'm able to do a talk, I often explain to people like when you go into an old house that's say 100 years old, those houses are creaky and settling and stuff like that, which is probably, I would say, more than half of what people are actually hearing is the
Hmm.
natural
Yeah,
structure of the house. So
but we've been
when you were
saying this for
hearing wind
years.
or you're hearing boards crack or, you know, think
Yeah.
about it for a second and just not say, oh, I have a demon in my house.
I learned something very early on when I first started investigating, and it was actually Grant Wilson who said this: start on Earth and work your way up.
That is amazing advice.
Whenever you're investigating, start on Earth and work your way up. And yeah, Philip and Amanda, demon.
Oh yeah, the demonic or the demon word.
Oh,
I mean that word is. I think that word is more used than I love
right?
yous nowadays.
Yeah, it's
You
scary.
know, those late night texts, those late night emails. There's a demon in my house. Oh, how much have you had to drink, and have you? What show has you watched?
Yep. Speaking of, I watched Paranormal State again the other day.
I always
I
love
love
watching
going back to watch old shows, and just seeing how far the industry has come. And there's those old school shows where we didn't have the tech that we have today, or the knowledge that we have today. And yeah, back then everything terrified us.
Yeah, I
Like,
like this one. When you
yeah,
hear hoofbeats, thinks it's a horse and not an elephant.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah, I've been working on quite a bit, like I said, with my books and things, and doing some very cool research and stuff, and exploring a lot of myths and legends. Like, I've just come back from Cornwall, so I was doing some research on mermaids and pirates and smugglers and all sorts of cool things down there. And yeah,
so
heading
you
off
got
to
some.
Ireland next week.
I, I was just gonna say you have some cool events that are coming up. I wonder if I can see which. I think this is it here. Come on, add it to the stage.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
it.
this is
That's the next one.
your upcoming one that's coming up in September, just a few
Yeah,
weeks from now. That's crazy. I mean,
very.
I I I, I wish to God I could win the lottery just to go on your adventures with you because all these
It's a
are
lot
one
of fun.
locations I would love to go to, but two to be able to experience them with somebody like you with your experience. I mean, these are truly you put together some really amazing adventures with Sage Paracon,
Thank you.
your company. Like you do some amazing work. You travel
I appreciate.
around.
I like. Do you know what? Somebody asked me, and I literally posted this on Facebook like yesterday or the day before, because somebody asked me the other day why I host paranormal holidays and adventures, and I can't tell you the number of times when I've taken people out on a holiday tour, and they're standing in the middle of an ancient stone circle about to do a really cool ritual or something, or learn how to make voodoo dolls in New Orleans, or whatever the case is. or they've just walked into an absolutely amazing castle that literally is so breathtaking that your jaw drops when you walk through the door. And seeing the look on your face when you experience that for the very first time, or if you've always wanted to go to Scotland, and I can be the person that takes you through Scotland to all of those places that you've always wanted to go and investigate, or those myths and legends that you've wanted to delve into yourself. To be able to be the person that does that and has that little part in you making those memories, that is why I do it. You know, there's been a few times I was with Jessica Chobot in Cornwall in April, and I was showing her around. And there was one point where we were standing on top of a really high cliff at Tintagel Castle, which is King Arthur. And she was just stood there looking around, and the look on her face, I just looked at her and went, that's it. That right there.
Yeah.
That moment. Just seeing that on your face. And she was like, what are you talking about? It's like the moment you just stood there and stopped and experienced it for yourself.
Right.
That makes it so worth it. So I love putting my tours together. I never take more than 10 people on a tour. So they're very intimate. Is there a UK Sage Paranormal on the cards? Sage Paracon. Sylvia, I don't know. Honestly, I've been trying to move away from events to focus more on writing. So, and I keep saying this every damn year, all of you know it. I keep going, I'm going to cut down events. I want to do more writing. I want to do more research. And then I do events anyway. So I have no idea. That's the
It's
answer. I don't know.
however you feel.
I don't know.
Now, this is another cool one that you have coming up
Oh,
in
I
April
love
of
New Orleans.
2027. And I mean, New Orleans, I mean, the absolute greatest place on earth to do this, like what you're doing is absolutely amazing. And I
I
mean,
love New Orleans so much. It's ridiculous. It is honestly one of my favorite places in the world. It stole my heart in 2014, and I cannot get enough of it. I don't know how many times I've hosted this tour. A lot, a hell of a lot. I will go back there every year if I could. Um, so yeah, this is coming up end of April, beginning of May next year, and I have 4 spots left for that tour. If anyone wants to join me, you can just reach out, drop me an email. It's mj@mjdickson.com. It's nice and easy. Yeah, but that is a really cool one because you've got the voodoo, the paranormal, you've got searching for the Honey Island swamp monster on a swamp tour, or going through cemeteries on a cemetery tour, or vampire walking tour, a witches walking tour, a French Quarter ghost walking tour, investigating plantation houses, or like there's so much. They honestly, the tours include a lot. It's basically everything I love doing and exploring, like the New Orleans vampires. Oh my gosh, there's so many cool stories. And the first time I organized that for my holiday tour, it was the first time I was experiencing it as well. And I was just blown away, which led to me digging into all things vampire in New Orleans, and which led to a book chapter. So it's basically the tours are everything that I've done in the past, or some of the things that we're experiencing together for the first time. But
that's
it's all things that are weird, and I just like sharing with like-minded people.
and here's another one that you're doing up in
Yep.
Scotland, back in Scotland,
I can't
May of
wait.
2027. So,
There's
I
cool
would love to
there.
do this because I don't know, lately I've had the biggest fascination with the Highlander cows.
Oh my gosh, they are so freaking cute. I adore them so much. We had a really great time on the last one. So I did 2 back-to-back Supernatural Scotland and Isle of Skye tours in May this year. Oh my gosh, we had a blast. It was super fun. And one of them, they weren't really interested in seeing the Highland cows. They were like, oh, okay, there's a cow in the field. Great. I, on the other hand, wanted to go and pet all the pets.
Absolutely.
I'm
I
putting
just
all
want
of
to hug
them.
one. They're so adorable.
I am that person that will pet everything I can. So,
Care,
the other
careful
turkeys.
there, Calvin. Some of these things will hurt you.
But
Uh,
yeah, I'm gonna die petting the chupacabra one day. Like that's can I pet that dog? That's
I
gonna be
walked
me.
I walked into a vampire shop in New Orleans and somebody was getting their teeth. Now that
Yeah,
would
that's
be
pretty normal
strange.
there. Yeah, yeah, that's
I
pretty
did.
normal there. It's actually amazing. I love the Vampire Cafe, the Vampire Speakeasy, all of that. It's really cool. And also going, the Coffin Girls stories, the Casket Girls. There's a lot of cool vampire legends and things. Yeah, New Orleans really embraces it. It's interesting.
Is there any information on the Colorado Sage Tribe event?
Yes. So, for Patreon supporters, every year we do a Patreon only event. We have finalized pretty much everything. So, we've got a couple more details that we've just got to sort out. If you give me a second, I'll tell you what dates it is. Bear with me. Um, Stand by. I'm looking at my calendar because so much going on. I believe it is the 15th to the 19th of April next year, um, that weekend. And we're going searching for Bigfoot in the Rocky Mountains. We're going to do a Sasquatching adventure. We've got 3 different towns that we're going to be in. So we're going to do Cripple Creek, Colorado, Central City, and then we're ending at the Stanley Hotel. So it's going to be a really cool event for myself and Richard's Patreon supporters. Hi, Valerie. Yeah, so we're heading out. Yeah, whole group of us. Whoever wants to come and join us, our Patreon supporters.
I see
Yeah,
a trip to Colorado in my future.
right.
I so I'm very sad that at the Ascension Con I was totally wiped out from the day and I did not get the opportunity to go on their Bigfoot hunt with them, and I was very disappointed about that. Um, but one of these days I will definitely be on one, that is for sure.
Come with
And
us in
we
April. Come with us.
absolutely. I'm going. Sorry, work. I have to take time up. I'm
We're
sick.
gonna looking for Bigfoot. You know what? I see a problem with. You've got a problem with your eyes. You just can't
Yeah,
see yourself at work.
I, exactly. I can do that.
So, yes, for Patreon supporters, we are going to be releasing details. Hopefully next week we should have everything in place. And yeah, so you'll know more on Patreon. I've also got a whole bunch of Patreon stuff coming up this whole next week for you guys. I had a little bit of a stalker issue, so I haven't been posting where I am in the moment, just because I didn't want particular people to know.
No,
Exactly.
rightfully so. And I mean, that's.
Yeah, it's gonna
I
be a
told you
shame.
backstage that I feel bad for anybody that has to deal with a stalker issue,
Yeah.
or people in general just
It
you
happens
know
more than we'd like to admit.
yeah
But so I usually, when I'm on the road, I'm usually posting like, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing. But I decided, you know what, I'm just going to hang back and give it a few days before I post
yeah.
anything. At least then I'm out of those areas. And yeah,
Right. Yeah, it's for
sorry
your
that
own
we have to do
safety,
that.
because the
Yeah,
world is a very strange place right now, and there is usually
weirdos.
using the words weirdo is a good thing, but
I
there are
mean,
some
yes,
really
exactly. I was going to
weird
say,
people.
yeah, I was going to say weirdos is usually our tribe, we like the
Yes,
weirdos.
but
But this,
there's some that
yeah,
are off
this
the
is a
rocker
different,
weirdos.
yeah, different
Uh,
story. So
yes,
yeah, for Patreon guys, you've got some really cool stuff coming up. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited.
yes,
But
and
you'll know more. We'll have tickets on sale for the Colorado event probably next week. Sage
and
Paracon! I'm so excited
and
to go back to
my
Belgrade.
my favorite event, which always feel
Exactly.
sad each and every year that I don't get to get down there to hang out with you
Oh,
guys.
miss you
I mean,
there.
once again, you have hit it out of the paranormal ballpark with your guests. I mean,
Come on, they're our
uh,
favorites.
it's truly amazing. Like I said, this event for those who have never had the opportunity to be 1B in Virginia, but at the Belgrove Plantation where this is held every year,
It
the
is stunning.
staff,
It is
Michelle, and
beautiful.
everybody there are so amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, and the people that come, like the speakers, are always amazing. But just the event itself is so relaxing, down to earth, and
That's what
having
I was
so
gonna
much
say.
fun.
It's a very chilled weekend. So,
Yes.
for those of you who are maybe seeing Sage Paracon for the very first time, we do not have more than like 45, maybe 50 people for the weekend, and that is on purpose. I never wanted a big event. Oh my gosh. Hey, Maddie, thank you so much.
No.
Um, it is a very small tribe of people. I think we've got I think there's less than 20 tickets left. So we usually just do like, I mean, some years we've been like 30 something people. It's just a really nice little event. We're at Belgrove Plantation on the Rappahannock River, which is absolutely stunning. We've got great speakers. We've got Jessica Chobot joining us for the first time, and she is so much damn fun. You guys know her from Expedition X and from Bigfoot Took Her on Discovery Plus. And then obviously Richard Estep, an incredible author, has been on so many different paranormal shows, I can't name them all. John Zaffis, the godfather of the paranormal, joining us for the weekend. John Sullivan from Fredericksburg Paranormal Investigations and Research. John Sullivan has a wealth of knowledge, especially about the whole area. I mean, that's where he's based, so he is a fantastic speaker. Joe McGugan. So Joe is my book editor. She is going to be teaching you guys a bit about research and that sort of stuff as well, and how to find your stories and write your books and all of that good stuff as well. Joe is a fantastic speaker. I'm really honored to have her talking at Sage this year. And then the lovely Kim Sage. She's a beautiful psychic medium. She's probably one of the people that, when it comes to all things psychic, that I turn to as well, and we have great discussions about it. She's super knowledgeable and just the loveliest person. So she's going to be doing some cool workshops. And it's a really small, intimate event, We hang out, we investigate the entire plantation, which is always amazing. But then we have a whole weekend of talks, and not only talks, but we do kind of hands-on workshops as well.
Right. Yeah.
So that we're teaching you as much as we possibly can throughout the weekend in a chilled environment. We have food trucks. We have our get to know the speakers game show, which is always chaos and super fun. And we have cocktails. You get a couple cocktails included in your ticket, and snacks, canapes and things. It's a very nice weekend. So if you want to come and join us, you can grab tickets at sageparacon.co.uk. Grab those last few tickets. How many people for Colorado? Max 30. Yep, we'll be max 30 people for Colorado. So if you want to grab your tickets, we will, because we're in different towns each night, going, from Cripple Creek to Central City and so on and so forth, and Bailey, Colorado for the Sasquatching adventure. I will give you guys a list of the hotels that we've already contacted to get group rates and that sort of thing as well. So you guys will get all the information of where to stay, where to book, what promo codes to use, tickets, etc. pretty soon.
And of course, we have to talk about your fantastic books that are available on Amazon.
And Ali Cotton, thank you for making me look so nice in that photograph.
Oh, she
She's a great
is. We
photographer.
were talking about her backstage and how she can. She's
You make
got the
anyone look
most.
good. It's great.
Yeah, she's got the perfect eye and everything for
Yes.
photography. Truly amazing. I know you can reach out to her, hire her for your event or
Do it.
weddings.
Ellie Cotton.
Alley Cotton, yes, absolutely. So if you've not read her books or do not have copies of her books, they're highly recommended. Not just for
Thank
me,
you.
I love your style writing. These two books are truly
Thank you.
fascinating, and they're only going to enhance what your next project and all the other books that are coming after. But for
Fingers
those,
crossed.
get them, purchase them on Amazon, or if
Thank you.
MJ is going to be at an event, you get to
Yep.
meet this fantastic lady in person. She always has copies of her books.
Yep.
So,
I will
I
have them
mean,
at
this
Sage
has been the
Paranormal.
fastest hour in our lives. So, I
Oh my
actually
gosh,
want
don't
you
worry.
to talk about anything that's upcoming or anything you want to promote right now, besides all the stuff that we just promoted.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm doing a few investigations here in the UK. Thank you, Maddie. I appreciate that. I'm investigating Warwick Castle in November, and I am doing a great weekend lockdown in Shepton Mallet Prison with Jessica Chobot in April, the beginning of April next year. You can find all of those details on sageparanormal.co.uk. And there will be more coming up on Patreon for us to hang out together and that sort of thing as well. So if you want to check out my Patreon community, that is patreon.com/MJ Dickson. You can find more there.
There you have it.
That's
The
it.
truly amazing UK sweetheart.
Aw,
Somebody who I love dearly. I love you and
love you
Duncan.
too.
I can't wait till we can see each other again.
Yeah.
If somehow by
Hopefully
chance,
Canada is in the
I
near
pray every
future.
day that somehow I'm going to make it down to Virginia this year. You may never know. I just might pop up.
I hope so. And don't
Ah,
be surprised if I knock on your door in Canada sometime.
oh, anytime. I've got lots of space available for
Amazing.
anybody who wants to move to Canada at the current moment.
You're just recruiting everyone to Canada now.
That's right. We're
Thank you
Canada's.
to everyone who tuned in. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging
Yes.
out.
So MJ, I love you. I hope
I love you
everything
more.
works out for you. I look forward to the books coming out. Everything that you're doing is always truly amazing.
I
Uh,
appreciate that. Thank you
to
so
the
much.
people who are on the site, thank you so much. The comments were amazing. The questions are always awesome. So, guys, catch MJ when you can. Follow her on all over social medias. Keep up with her. Get to some of her events because they are truly heartfelt events. She puts a lot of her heart and soul into these events. They're not just your average event where you can go hang out and it becomes a true experience. You walk away from any event that MJ does feeling better
Oh,
about
that's my
yourself
whole
and a
family.
whole lot of new friends. I'll tell you that
Oh
much.
yes. We're a friendly bunch. The Sage tribe are super friendly and very welcoming. So yeah, come and join us. Even if you don't have anybody to go with you, join us on your own. Honestly, I can tell you, people have come to Sage Paracon on their own without knowing anybody, and they have left with an entire tribe of friends. So do that. Yes, come on, you know.
I was there. I experienced. I walked the streets only knowing MJ. Well, I knew a couple of the speakers,
Uh-huh.
but I walked out of there and I have a whole new friends and everything, and it's truly amazing. So,
I
guys,
remember one person arriving at Sage Paracon a couple of years ago, and he didn't know anybody. He didn't even make it out of the car park before he was like drawn in and like, hey, who are you? Come sit with us.
right?
You don't have a choice. You just were very friendly, and it's a great weekend. So
Yeah,
come
they
and hang
just
out.
suck you. The energy just sucks you in, and I could. So, guys, that's going to do for me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart from day one to day now. Always appreciate everybody. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are 74 people away
Woo!
from 1,000
Hooray!
subscribers. So, hey, let's help a Canadian out. Let's get those subscribers rates up there. Uh, but in the meantime, MJ, take care of yourself. We will see you down the road for sure. Don't forget,
care.
no show
Love you.
tomorrow at our regular 8 p.m. time. We will be back next Sunday, September 6th, with a fantastic show. In the meantime and in between time, we always like to say is happy hauntings.
Happy haunting.